Hello. Jumpstart your Esperanto. Just at the beginning, I want to be clear, after this course, you won't know all the top morphemes in grammar. I just show you a method how you can do it yourself in your own pace at home via an online course. And where's actually where's the pilot for? Here it is, sorry, yeah. There we go. This is a photo of me in the year 2002, over 20 years ago. And the reason why I'm looking so proud is because I have just been at a week-long Esperanto meetup in Hungary. I went there and I could understand nearly everything. Like I hadn't a problem, I was never lost. I couldn't maybe say everything I want, but I felt I could understand all the announcements. And I was in this position without ever having attended a class of Esperanto, nor I actually committed to learn to Esperanto. So what happened before, I worked in an office and I met my first real-life Esperantist, and he reminded me that this language exists. I mean, I knew about Esperanto before, but I got kind of inspired again by him knowing the language. So I was looking for online material and I found a website. It looked back then like this. And I was just like learning Esperanto on the side a bit. And like when I was procrastinating, I was bored and I went on the side, reading some texts, did some exercises. And with that, I got to this situation where I could just understand what people said to me. And I'm sharing the story not to say that I'm some polyglot wunderkind, that I'm able to learn new languages just by not really paying a lot of energy for it. My point is that Esperanto is very much different to regular languages, to natural languages that you may have learned in your life. I think also when people would ask me what is the biggest misconception about Esperanto, it is the fact that people often think like, well, I mean, I could still learn Spanish or Esperanto, but with Spanish I can speak to Spaniards, so I pick Spanish, right? That's true, but they kind of don't factor in the amount of energy that you need. Because Esperanto is much faster to learn than other languages, the natural languages. And I want to show you why that is. I want to show you two features of Esperanto, why this is so different, and because of this, we can have a different approach to language learning. Let's look at the verb conjugation. English is to be said to have a very easy verb conjugation, right? It's so easy, you just need to learn like the basic form, you add some s at the third person singular, and this is why English is so popular, right? It's so easy, the grammar. And if we look at this, this is like to be, sure, like in the future, in the conditional tense, it's the same word. It's also somewhat regular in the past and present tense. You might ask, okay, why is you different than the other singular tenses, singular persons? But that's how it is. And people say, well, it's easy, right? Now let's look at the same slide. We translate every word into Esperanto. This is the Esperanto conjugation for to be. And as you see, it's as regular as it can get. There's only one vowel always changing. It's the second vowel, so past tense is estis, estas, estos, estus. And the main information, this is the conjugation for every single verb in Esperanto. So with looking at the slide, your learning of Esperanto conjugation is done, right? Let's look at another feature. This is how many words you need to learn. So these are 4 English words: good, bad, warm, cold. And in Esperanto, we basically only have 2 words. It's bona and varma, and we create the opposite for them by using the prefix mal. So this is one of the Esperanto prefixes. You can create every opposite with mal. There's also many other prefixes, and as you can see, but just with this one prefix, because we know mal, in English we need to learn 4 words, in Esperanto we need to learn 2. And yeah, with these 2 features, one could think we should design very different learning materials, and this is also what thought where is it? This is also what thought Zlatko Tischler in the year 1979. He was a Croatian Esperantist, and he was unhappy with the existing learning material in Esperanto. And he thought, okay, let's improve this in a systematic way. So what he did was, he went to a week-long Esperanto meeting, the Universal Congress, Universala Congreso, and he was recording people's dialogues. Like he just held a recorder when they were having a dialogue, of course with their permission. And afterwards, he was transcribing what these people said. And he transcribed their dialogues by the morphemes. So the morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit in a language. meaning that in a sentence, tio estas malbona, in English, this is bad, we have 6 morphemes, tio estas malbona. And then, after transcribing this, he made an analysis, and he found that from all the 60,000 words, there were only 1,500 different morphemes, and the kicker line, 467 morphemes covered 95% of spoken Esperanto, of all the transcriptions. Right? So then he thought, okay, great, let's just take this number of morphemes and create a new course that is teaching only these morphemes. He did that together with 3 other Croatian Esperantists, and they created a course that we all now can visit. This is also the course that I did back then. So I invite you now to pull out your devices to scan this code or to type in the web address, Esperanto 12. And I also will do this after you had a chance to take a note. Whoops. And you see, you can pick your language at the beginning. I encourage you to pick the language you speak the best. I will do it in English. I see people already got the code. Otherwise, it's still Esperanto 12. Let me now change the window. Oh, what's going on? I might need some escape. Yes. Escape. Nothing happens. Maybe Albert knows. Okay. All right, yeah, sounds good. Looks good. Great, so I already, maybe you just go before, like you have seen maybe these, no, sorry. This is the starting page for English. You see a little description what this is about. And we will now go through the first lesson, and then you can do at home all the rest of them, and afterwards, I somewhat promise you will be able to understand spoken Esperanto. So let's click start. We see every course starts always, every lesson starts with a text, and we will just, without any clarification, I just encourage you to read it. So let's read it together. Who wants to read the first sentence? Maybe
I can do it. Marco estas mia amico, li estas lernanto kaj sportisto.
Okay, even 2 sentences. So, and let's try now to translate it.
Marco is my friend. He is learning how sport. I don't know.
Let's go by it word by word. You probably saw estas before on the slides. And as you see, you always need to just go with your mouse on the word, then hovering the mouse over the word estas maybe. Can you do this, please? Yes, the other estas as well. And you see the translation always by their morphemes, right? So every word is translated into its particular morphemes. We see estas as to be, it's in the present tense. Then the first sentence was correct, of course. Marco is my friend. Maybe let's look at the mia word. Yep, mia. So mia is put together from me, from the first person singular, and the ending for adjectives. So all the adjectives end with a. And when if we now need a possessive pronoun like my, just put it together, right? Very logical. This is how Esperanto does it. So mia means my. Amico again is a friend. Let's go over friend. You see that the O is the marker for the noun. So every noun Esperanto ends with O, period. You don't have to, that's all the things you need to recognize nouns. The next sentence was he, very correct. He is li. Estas is to be in the present tense. And now lernanto, this is a bit more complicated. There is the little glimpse of another verbal form, present active, but actually don't bother. Just remember that lernanto is the word for student, okay? Kai is a very frequent word. It just means and. Who knows from which language it's coming from? Silesian? What's your guess? Greek, exactly. It's the Greek word. I think the only Greek word Esperanto took over. And then we have sportisto, which kind of is intuitively understandable. It's a sports. It comes from sports, and ist is the suffix for profession or for also ideology. I mean, also like socialista would be the socialist. All right, let's go with the next sentence. We just do maybe one paragraph. Emily?
Li non sidas en cambro kaj lernas.
Okay, very, very well done for this course, because now we can see where the pronunciation differs. So we again have li, nun. We have the u that is just pronounced in the German way. It's u, nun, which means now. It's taken from German. Then we have sidas. Let's go over it. To sit, present tense. N is in, and now comes chambro. So if you see something like looks like a Slavic hatchek, they're just turned around in Esperanto. It's a circumflex, but they are pronunciated like the Slavic ch would be. So it's the chambro. And kai, because again we are in Esperanto, not in English, so it's the yet is just a y. Yeah. No worries, there is a further grammar clarification with every single letter that you can at home sit down and study. But I think we just go now through a live text. Let's go to the next sentence. How about you?
Sul tablo estas paperoj kaj libroj.
Thank you. Are you an Esperantist? Okay, because you did it perfectly, I think. It was just as it has to be. Sur table. Yeah.
Sorry. On the table there are papers and books. Yeah.
Yeah, I just noticed I forgot to translate the previous sentence, but I think you all got it, right? Li non sidas en chambro kaj lernas. Could you do it?
He's sitting in a room, and he's learning.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's also pretty intuitive, right? Especially if you know some Roman languages, the roots are very familiar. Like I think 60% of the roots are from Roman languages, 30% are from Germanic languages, mostly German, and 10% are from Slavic languages. Okay, let's do the last two. How about you?
Ĝi estas skribotablo. It is a desk, or no, G?
Yes.
It is a skribotablo. No.
It was very correct. First, congratulations for the pronunciation. You very pronunciated the G. It's the G, the English G, but with a hatchek. So without these circumflex, not hatchek, circumflex, sorry, it would be a G, but because it has it as a G. And it means it, correct? Then we have estas again, it means to be. And now something happened, also what happens often in Esperanto, you can deduct the word from its parts. Skribotablo, it means writing and table. And in English we have the word desk for this as a common word. All right, let's go to the last sentence then. How about you?
La libroj sur la table estas my eyes are too bad.
You can see it.
Lernoj libroj.
Yes, almost. It's no J, lernolibroj, but still very well. La libro, also your pronunciation was very well. La libroj sur la tablo estas lernolibraj. So translation?
The book on the table is a learning book. A book to learn.
Okay. Albert, can you go on the words? Yes, now with some help.
The book? The books, yeah. On the table are learn books, school books.
School books, textbooks. So we now learned also the ending for plural. It's a J, right? So to the existing O is becoming added a J, and this is how we know it's the plural. And yeah, so we already learned some things just in the context. The next paragraph, I guess you can do at home. We now look at the other parts from the course. So you always see in the second tab, you have a new words list. Thank you so much, Albert, for now. Here we will see a list of all the new words in the lesson. And also in the upper right corner, you have an Anki file. Who of you knows what Anki is? Okay, at least a few. So this is an Anki deck. You can just download it, and all the words of the whole course are in there. So meaning that you can just install them at your Anki and use them, learn them every day, which I also can very much recommend. Anki does a great job with the spaced repetition to retain the knowledge that you tend to forget and to not bother you with words that you already know. So this is just a list that you can skim over. Then every lesson contains a grammar explanation. So this is all the new grammar in the language. Of course, it starts with the pronunciation. As you can see, it takes a lot of time for every single letter. Every single letter also always has an example in its language. So if you now have a German course, you should see examples in German. If you have a Polish course, you see it in Polish. And again, like, take your time at home, or when you're bored, study it as you like. I will just like scroll a bit through it to see also the other features of grammar that we just learned in this course, in this lesson. So we have the pronunciation. You already did it very well. You pronunciated the one but last syllable. So the penultimate syllable, you pronunciated very well. So it's telefono, or it's amico, or it's estas. So it's like in Polish, roughly, or in Italian. Be careful sometimes, though, it's also kind of counterintuitive. So it's radio, not radio. I struggled along with radio. I always said radio, but it's radio. This was stress, and we also have an article. So this is actually behaving like in English. We use la for actually any gender. There's no gender, so it's always la or nothing. La amico is the friend. Amico is a friend. We have a list of personal pronouns. We just saw already some of them in the text. Yeah, nothing special in there. I think they also resemble a bit French, I would say, especially the li. Yeah, just take your time at home to read them. We had a list of possessive pronouns. Basically, they're just the personal pronouns with an a at the end, because, as I said, they behave like an adjective, so why they should look like an adjective. The nouns we already covered. They end all in o. The plural adds a j. And we also had the verbs, more or less. Here something comes that we will need in the third exercise. Maybe we look at this at the end. I now first want you to just do an exercise. So the first exercise is always translating. Translate a word into your own language. In this time in English. So let's take a guess. What might be amichino? Although this could be difficult. What do you think amichino is?
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend, yes, although it's not used in that way. So if in English we say girlfriend, I mean, what you want to say is it is a female friend, right? It's a female person, exactly. English uses girlfriend more for the romantic friend, which in Esperanto is a different word. It is, by the way, it means cor amico or cor amichino, which is the heart friend. So coro is the heart, and then we have a friend. Okay, let's go for the next word. What is labortablo?
Something with table, I don't know.
Yeah, I think this was covered in the second paragraph that we didn't read yet. So laboro, what does it sound for you? Work. So what could labortablo be? Desk is, yeah, let's try. Desk is one of the translations. I think the other main one would be workbench. So let's go for Esperantistino. What is your guess?
Someone who speaks Esperanto?
Yeah, but more specific?
A guy? Or, a man?
No, so it's ending with ino, en, and the en is the suffix for female. Which is, by the way, also a big criticism of Esperanto, so I can tell you that. Esperanto was made 140 years ago, and there's only officially one suffix for females, so this is why there is amico, which is a friend, can also be a male friend, and amichino is a female friend, but there is no specific male friend suffix yet. There are now suggestions how to reform this, so there is a suggestion also to use icho for males, so you might encounter this amikicho maybe in some modern Esperanto texts, but it wasn't in the official part, so this is why it's not also in this course. Let's go to instruisto. This was also in the second paragraph, but maybe you're smart enough, you're polyglot, so you could know what instruisto is. Who knows it?
I guess it's the teacher.
It's a teacher, exactly. It's put together from instrui, which means like you can literally say instruct or teaching, and isto is the profession, exactly. What might be hotel chambro? I think it's easy.
The hotel room?
Yes, it's a hotel room. Okay, I think you see how this works. You see also you can always take a peek. If you're not sure, then just take a look at the translation there. You see also all the possible translations, but yeah, just try it if you don't know further. Let's go maybe to the second exercise. Thank you. This is always a type of exercise where you see Esperanto phrases and you need to complete them, right? So you see a space there is Marco, estas, and la, and then by the knowledge from the text, you should add the word that is missing there. What could this be?
Marco estas en la chambro.
Very right. And also you see, because many keyboards don't have the Esperanto letters, so you can use the Esperanto way how to write them. So if you can't make these circumflex signs, the typical, or one of the typical ways, especially in the internet age, was to add an X to them. Okay, what do we have again? There is a space and then sidas sur seggio. What could this be?
Something is on the seat. I don't know.
It's one word we need. Actually, you need to have knowledge from the text. So maybe, Albert, if you can open the text. No, sorry, go back. And then if you up, there is this bar. No, below. There is below. There you can open the text. So if you forgot what's in the text, you can still read the whole text again. And with that knowledge, you can maybe better fill out the forms. So we need a word that would make sense in this situation, also given what there was before. So it's a pronoun, if I may give you a hint. It's a pronoun for Marco.
Lee.
Yes, this is Lee. Right, and then we see instruisto, instruas, laboristo, lernanto, So it basically means just fill out the other two fields in the same pattern. So if instruisto, instruas, what does laboristo?
Laboristas?
Not really, because isto is the ending for the profession. We need only the root. Okay, so it's labor, isto, but the root is labori. So in the present tense, what does the laboristo in the present tense?
Sorry, I don't know.
Laboras. Exactly. And lernanto?
Laboras.
No, so the lernanto is the student, and what is the root of lernanto? The root?
Lernat. No clue.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if maybe, can you go to the word lernanto in the text? Upper, first line, yes. So we see lernanto is put together from lern and o. So the root is lern, and we want the present tense of lern.
Learned. No, I think it.
So again, like they all end in the same ending. It's us in the present tense. So lerni in the present tense is lernas. Right? So as you see, like it's very logical. It has very few exceptions. Actually, until now I didn't see any. In the fourth sentence, like it will be a similar thing, but there you see the space between the field and the word is very small, so you need to complete the word. So as you see, it's about two people, Marco, Kai, Alexandro, estas. And because it's about two people, what could be the necessary ending?
Lernantistoi?
Yes, if isto would be a profession, if we would need it, but the ending was very correct. It's only lernantoi. But very correct, it's about O and J, right? So we need a plural and the same.
Sportistoi.
Right. So Marco and Alex are learners and sportsmen. Let's look at the time. Let's do the third exercise. And for the third exercise, let's go back to the grammar, to the last parts. And then will be time for questions. So yeah, we already talked about these things. And now we have chu. So chu is a very practical word. It basically, like you could translate it literally into weather. And it basically allows you to create a question. So if you have a sentence like vi sidas, you sit, you can turn it into a question by prefixing it with a chu. Chu vi sidas, are you sitting? Then we see one of the question words, interrogative verbs is kiu, like who. By the way, I can later show you at the end as a bonus the table on how all these question words like what, where, when, this, then, that, all, everything, they are all put together in an awesome table. This was actually the most impressive thing I learned about Esperanto, so we can look at this later. So kiu for now just means who. Then we have the suffix ist, we just had this, so this is a profession or it can be an ideology. We had the suffix in, which means female. It's also used very extensively, so if there's a word for patro, we just create the word for mother with patrino, right? There's no other word for mother. Same goes for Lernanto. We had this already. It's Lernantino. It's the female student. Instruisto is the teacher. Instruistino is the female teacher. And then we also have yes and no. So it's yes and ne, right? Very similar to English. So let's go to the third exercise, which is one where you finally speak Esperanto yourself. You need to create a whole phrase. And you always see the phrase in English. So you see like, you need to translate now, who is your female friend, into Esperanto. So what could be the first word? Who knows it? Maybe you?
Kio.
Kio is the first word, exactly. Maybe you already know. Estas, sorry.
Estas.
Estas is, exactly. So now what is your? Your, we need a pronoun for you and make an adjective out of it. Any idea? Via, exactly. So it's vi is you and via is your. And then what is female friend? Amikino, I think I heard it. Exactly. So let's maybe do one more, and then we have time for your questions. Here comes the nice new word, whether. So how to create a question out of a statement?
Chu.
And the next one?
Via.
Via, right. Who knows the whole sentence? Okay, who knows the next 3 words?
Ĉu via amikino Ana skribas nun en la ĉambro?
Okay, wow. I think that's all correct. Skribas. What was that next?
Nun en la ĉambro.
Looks good. Great. Wow. Yeah, I think there are 5 more sentences. I think you know the system. You can do it at home. So I don't want to bother you now. You can do it at your own pace. I want to just kind of wrap this up. Thank you again, Albert. Just switch now to my slides. This whole course is also, yes, thanks. It's also, to my knowledge, the only course that is free as in freedom. So it has a free license. You can extend it. You can contribute to it. And so it will never be gone. Like, I think Duolingo now has some problems because it might be that they scrapped the other language courses, like the Spanish to Esperanto courses. This can never happen with this course. So if you want, you can contribute to this course, especially if you are knowledgeable in using GitHub. It's a platform for software code. And the whole course is saved in Markdown files and YAML files, so it's very structured. So even if you want to learn now Esperanto and you have all these skills to edit these files, you can kind of volunteer while learning it. This would be very great. So it can help this course to be extended. That's so far everything I wanted to say, and now we can start having with your questions. Thank you so far. And it means there are no questions? Well, then even I made my point so clear. Otherwise, you can also tell me, yeah, like this.
In the whole process, I was always interested in the creator of the language. Could you give us some more details about the process, about the person?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not an expert about this history, but the creator, of course, is Ludwig Zamenhof. He was an oculist, actually, an eye doctor, who lives in the town Białystok. Today it's called Białystok, back then also. But back then it wasn't, like Poland was not existing. It was part of the Russian Empire. And so until today, like, is some question, like, so what was his nationality? Like, the Poles, of course, say he was Polish. He himself was also Jewish. He spoke Polish, spoke also German, and background, so he was motivated to create Esperanto because in his town he saw a lot of tensions between the different ethnic groups. And his theory was, well, they only are so much quarreling and having problems because they don't have a common language. So his motivation was, let's have a common language that is easy to learn for everybody. It's like puts everyone in an equal level, and then the tensions will go down. So this was the background. Maybe someone wants to add something. I see your hands raised. Okay. Okay. Sorry, which room? This is the Babel room, yes?
So in a lot of languages today, like Spanish, certainly even Hebrew, there's an effort to degender the language. So I'm curious as to whether there's any of that in Esperanto today.
So I already touched the topic. It is about the suffix en, which in Esperanto is used extensively to denote like words like mother, right? Now the question could be, so how to deal with that? Because what people perceive as a problem is that there is no suffix for males, right? So it's kind of asymmetrical. We have like patro, which is the father. We then have patrino, which is the mother. But why shouldn't it be like patros something like patricio? And we have a gender-neutral noun for parent, right? That could be the more logical way. And this is an effort that is going on. So there is people who want to reform Esperanto in exactly this way. It's called ichismo. It comes from this ending icho that they want to introduce for male forms. And by that way, Esperanto wouldn't be degendered, but it would be more symmetrical. We still need some denotation for symmetrical, for gender, because we want to have a word for mother. We want to have a word for mother and for father. People want to have a different, maybe you know more than, okay?
I want to add something. So there are already books which are published in Esperanto with gender neutral for mother and father as well. There's this Malgranda Sibo. So the book appeared, so there are tendencies to create also gender neutral words like mother and father, and words for non-gender specific third singular person is more and more popular, especially among younger people.
What do they use? How do they do it?
Right now it's re, which it's a pronoun. That's like super popular on the Junulara Esperanto. So it's in the Sibu Versibo. I'm not sure. It's this idea of Marcus Kramer. I haven't read the book, but I know that they exist. Okay. The Sibo, it's for brother or sister. Sibo, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think this is what I heard, is that because patro and patrina are so much used already, that it would be weird to just redefine patro as parent and then have a new word for patricio. So this is why they try to create new words. So this is what you just said, sibo is sibling, right? And it would be gender neutral because the actual word for brother is frato and sister is fratino, right? But now if you just redefine frato as gender neutral sibling, then what do you do with old texts who still use it as in the form of brother? Complicated story, yeah. But all right, some more questions, sure.
I don't really know much about Esperanto, but I wanted to ask, so okay, we all learn all the basics, but now we need some input to get more familiar with the language. Are there many like medias, books, or this kind of stuff?
Yes, of course. Esperanto has this big culture, especially online. So actually, besides this course, I can show you something. At the main page, you see down a button, at least in English there is one. Maybe can we switch back to the slides, please? No, to the escape. I had to learn it, right? Here. Yeah, I know. Great, thanks. In the main page, we have this button here. What does it mean? Anybody knows? Mi jam lernis Esperanton. Any guesses? I already learned Esperanto. Jam means already. And this is a long link list. So this is especially for the English community. So we have like links to the other courses as well, to the Telegram groups. We have speaker maps. So there's also, maybe if you want to meet the creators of Amikumu, which is an app that connects Esperanto speakers, they are here at this conference. Chuck Smith is that. You have calendar of events. Here you can continue learning. And this page exists, I think, not for all languages, but is, of course, for English. The other languages have it more specifically to the audience of these people. So I guess in the German page, you would have, of course, the link to the Esperanto Youth of Germany and so on. And I think also here are some YouTube channels. Yeah, there's music, of course. There's a whole radio. You can, Mosaiko is the Esperanto radio that only plays Esperanto music, and there's enough to play, 24/7 online radio station. You have podcasts. Here, this is a YouTube channel. Evildia is an Australian Esperantist who, for me, did very entertaining YouTube videos. He did vlogs every day for some time. And basically, I got my Esperanto fluent by watching his vlogs. So I could speak it, but then every day I'd just put on his 7 minutes of his daily vlog, and I got this some easiness in speaking. Yeah, so I think this link list is very exhaustive. You can get a lot of input from there. All right, some more question? Otherwise, I don't want to force you. You can, of course, come to me and talk to me. Thanks for being here, and let's learn Esperanto.